Your $1 million business starts off as an accident, and so many people are thinking that they have to have everything perfect or the perfect idea, not realizing that taking massive imperfect action will allow them to stumble across their 7-figure business. And I know that's exactly what happened to me because my very first 7 figures I made with digital products. I had absolutely no clue that I would end up selling digital products and have an online business. I had absolutely no desire to build any type of personal brand or increase my income, impact, or influence online with digital products. It was a complete accident. But that started with me taking massive imperfect action. So, what a lot of people are thinking is that they're always thinking, what is going to be the idea that's going to make me my first $1 million? Or actually, most people don't even start here. They usually start thinking, what's going to make me my first 100K? And they start thinking that whatever their first idea is or whatever that they first try is going to be something that's going to make them successful, that's going to make them some life-changing money, when that's not the case at all. So see, me, I fired my job April 1st, 2016, before I ever made a dollar for myself as an entrepreneur. I was wondering, what was it that I was going to do as an entrepreneur? But I knew that I had to remove all other paths to income in order for me to be successful. That's just how I'm wired as a person. I don't suggest you to just go and fire your job before you ever make a dollar for yourself as an entrepreneur, but that's what I did. That's how I'm wired. I know that I won't do anything to my full capabilities unless I cut off all other options, right? But what I thought that I was going to do was a small business, a small niche in real estate called wholesaling. If you're not familiar with what wholesaling is basically where you can flip paperwork. They paint it like you're flipping properties without using any of your own cash or credit, but in actuality, you're just flipping paperwork. So it took me 6 entire months of doing that from when I quit my job, or fired my job, because I ain't no quitter. But I fired my job April 1st, 2016. I didn't get my first dollar in this until October, mid-October. So it took me about 6 months to make my first dollar in this. Well, during that entire 6 month span, I was just documenting my process and publicly talking about what I was doing at the time. I had not had any success, but there were other people that were attempting to do what I was doing, and they started to ask me questions. And then once I got some proof of concept that I made money with it, more people started to ask me questions. And I was trying to help everybody that I could, but I realized that that was taking away from my business at the time, because instead of being out in the field and looking for these real estate deals, I was meeting up with people for all these pointless coffee dates and lunches, when I started to get irritated because they weren't doing anything with the information that I was telling them to do. And I was like, man, it's just a complete waste of time. So what I started to do was that I started to make content about what I was actually doing. So when those people reached out to me asking, hey, can we have breakfast? Hey, can I pick your brain? Which, if you just think about that, picking brain stuff, it sounds disgusting. Don't ask to pick anybody's brain. But I started to make content about what I was doing and just documenting what I was doing on a day-to-day basis, instead of thinking of being a content creator, to whereas I could just be like, how about you just watch these videos instead, right? Now, from that, I started to do one-on-one calls, because certain people that were watching the content started to reach out to me for help. And then I started charging people for my information. That's the first time ever that I realized that I could get paid for what I know. And from that also, I figured out that everybody has something within them that they can monetize if they can answer yes to both of these questions. And I haven't had anybody say no to either of these questions yet. I'm shooting 100% from the field with this. So for one, has anybody ever asked you how to do anything? I don't care what it is. It can literally be anything. The second question, have you seen anybody else getting paid for the same exact stuff that somebody has asked you how to do. Everybody has. The thing that is separating most people is that the people that are getting paid for the information that other people freely give away, they simply know how to package their expertise, package their knowledge, package their information into some type of vehicle that will give somebody not just the information, but give somebody the transformation that they desire from that information, right? Typically, it's a digital product, but I didn't learn this until I was just moving in massive imperfect action on what I thought would be the business that I was going to be doing. People started to ask me about it. I started to do one-on-one calls. And then from these one-on-one calls, I was like, man, this is starting to be a big waste of my time as well, because it's starting to take me away from what I'm thinking is going to be my business, because I'm sitting here on the phone and I'm typically answering the same questions over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, because typically people that do not have the knowledge, the experience, and the know-how that you do, no matter what level that you're on, you start to see patterns in the questions that they ask. And from this also, I realized that people are willing to pay me for information and knowledge that I have, and I don't even consider myself an expert yet. So I realized that all that you have to be, if we're saying a scale of 0 to 10, as far as the 10 being the super guru Mensa level expert that so many people think that they need to be online, and the 0 being somebody that's absolutely done nothing. Well, if I'm at a level 2, I can help people that are at a 1 and a 0. If I'm at a level 5, I can help people that are at a 4 and a 3 and whatnot. All that I have to do is be at least a step or a couple steps ahead of somebody it is that I'm helping. And then all that I have to focus on doing along my entrepreneurial journey is increasing my skill level, acquiring new skills, and refining those skills over time. So whereas I can always stay a couple steps ahead of whoever it is that I'm helping behind me, right? But I realized that you don't have to be an expert. But these people were wanting to pay me for the knowledge and information that I had for one reason and one reason only, because I was publicly talking about what I was doing. I was publicly teaching. So that also taught me that people don't teach because they're experts like most people think. People actually become the expert because they publicly teach. This is where it's at. Think about it. Every single person that you view as an expert or as an authority in whatever the space is, whatever the niche, whatever the industry, whatever market, you only perceive them to be an expert and authority because they publicly teach consistently about what it is that they know from their personal lived-through experience. People don't teach because they're experts. People become the expert because they teach. I accidentally learned that through doing these one-on-one calls here. Wasn't thinking that I was going to do that. But from that, I'm repeatedly pretty much getting the same questions over and over and over again. I was like, man, how can I get off of these phone calls so I can build this real estate business that I thought that I was going to build? I created a digital product based around the stuff that people were asking me on the phone. I went from a one-to-one model to a one-to-many model. So just like I used to do when I was wasting my time meeting for coffee and lunches and letting people pick my brain when there was absolutely no value exchanged on my behalf. It was just a one-way street of value. I had came to the pretty much the same spot with these one-on-one calls. So now when people are asking, hey, do you do a one-on-one call? I was like, oh, well, you can just get this digital product, right? That first digital product, it made me my first $900,000 in about 18 months. Well, no, it made me my first $900,000 Yeah, in about 18 months. And then I created a system around that initial digital product that took me to a seven figure and beyond level, right? But this was an accident that I discovered along the way of me taking massive imperfect action. I did not know anything about what I was doing. But from that experience, well, not only did I learn how to build a system for myself, and system stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money. Because a lot of people think that the money is made on the front end, but it's not. Amateurs make money on the front end, experts make money on the back end. The real money and the scalable money is made on the back end by having a system in place. So many people are thinking that the way to make money online is by having a digital product, whatever it is, a course, a community, a template, a software, whatever the vehicle is. And they think that it's about selling that one thing to as many people as possible instead of creating a system around that one thing and getting the people that decide to purchase that digital product, either getting them to buy more premium expensive things over time, or getting that same person to buy something initially but pay for it over and over and over again on a recurring model. It's about lifetime value, not about how much money you can get right now. That's what so many people struggling online are not understanding. But I learned that on accident from me building out a system for myself from that initial digital product. So now that I'm learning that I can monetize my intellectual property online, now that I'm learning how to create these systems, now I'm like, okay, how can I get the most traffic as possible to my systems? I thought the way was going to be social media. So my platform of choice at the time was Instagram. At the time, I built my Instagram up to over 120,000 followers. Then I started a podcast because everybody was like, oh, you gotta have a podcast, right? I started a podcast on this YouTube channel that nobody was listening to. I have over 100 episodes or something like that. Then I started up a TikTok, which I grew my TikTok to, I think, like 15 or 16,000 followers. I'm not sure off the top of my head. And then I was running paid ads as well. The most amount of money that I've spent on ads in a single month is a little over $100,000 in a single month, right? I'm not saying that I spent $100,000 per month, but as I was attempting to scale my business, the most amount of money that I spent on Facebook ads in a single month is a little over $100,000. Well, through this and taking massive imperfect action and not knowing what I was doing, but learning along the way through all my mess ups and my failures, because I realized that failure is a good thing, and failure stands for finding an individual lane. The only way that you find out what will work for you is by messing up and figuring out what does not work for you. So through doing this, I realized that these are not the way. I accidentally discovered YouTube because, especially here, when I was running ads, my income went to zero literally overnight. I started to outsource things. A guy that was running my Facebook account, he got hacked. Somebody had hacked his account. Therefore, they had got access to my account. They spent tens of thousands of dollars within a few hours span and got my ad account shut down. My income went to zero overnight because I was heavily dependent on ads at the time, and I had a 5-figure per month overhead because I was trying to scale and build a big business, right? Well, from that, I realized that none of this is the way, because all that I was attempting to do along my entrepreneurial, which turned into contentpreneurial journey, was that I was just looking to reach new all-time highs of money. That's all that I was looking to do, was raise the bar. But if I had no floor, well, guess what? When things bottom out, it bottoms all the way out. So I realized the wrong in my ways. And I'm like, if the only way that I get attention is through paying for it, as soon as I stop paying for it, well, that's not going to work. And then something else that I realized, I don't know if this is true. I don't have any actual factual data on this, but logically this makes sense. If something like an ad platform of Facebook, which owns Instagram, was seeing that I'm paying all this money for ads and then all of a sudden I stop, well, why would they give me as much reach when they're like, oh, let's just cut his water off to get him to start paying us again. All right. So I'm like, I need something that's evergreen. So whereas it's not if I pay money for attention now, which is just rented attention, and on every other short form platform, like an Instagram, like a TikTok, like a Twitter, like a Threads, the content is pretty much here today, gone tomorrow for most creators, or really it's here today, gone today for most people. So I was like, okay, what's something that's going to have compounding growth over time? I don't have to constantly be feeding it, because I used to post 3 to 5 times per day on every short form social media platform. Then I would post stories, then I would go lives. And I had a live webinar that I was doing, a 3-hour live webinar every single Thursday. I had an infomercial strategy where I was posting another 5 times per night between the hours of 12 a.m. midnight and 5 a.m. And then by 6 a.m., I would delete all the overnight posts and then have my 3 to 5 posts per day. It was exhausting. So I was like, what can I build that not only will be compounding over time, but a business model to whereas I can focus on, instead of raising the bar here, raising the floor, to whereas if something bottoms out, it's not going to bottom all the way out. It's at least going to hit the floor. So a business model to whereas I'll reach a new high, but then I build a new floor, a new plateau. I reach a new high, but then I build a floor. I reach a new high, but then I build a floor. To whereas if stuff does go wrong, instead of it instantly going wrong, well, I'll be able to see the signs. And instead of something bottoming out all the way, stuff starts to slow down. It at least reach this new threshold where I can figure out some stuff, right? This stuff is kind of like a leaky bucket. So just imagine that your business is a bucket and say that all this is water, right? But your bucket, with this thinking, it's going to have holes. But as long as you have some type of traffic source feeding water in here, your bucket's not going to instantly go empty. And you can work on identifying the holes in the bucket, and then you can work on closing these. So then your business can grow, right? I was like, what is this model? I discovered YouTube. I did not think that I would make YouTube content, but through my massive imperfect action, I kept on having to find ways to better not only what is going to feed the entrepreneurial side of things or the contentpreneurial side of things, but who I am as a person, because everything that I was doing up until this moment, everything felt out of alignment, right? So YouTube is the only thing that has evergreen lasting staying power, because it's the only evergreen platform. It's not about what you post today, it's about what your content can be doing for literal weeks, months, and years to come. Just look up the first ever video on YouTube. It's titled Me at the Zoo. You'll see that that video gets tens of thousands of views per day, and it's over a decade old. All right, like almost 2 decades old. On a month-to-month basis, the best performing videos for me are videos that I did months ago, a year ago, and 2 years ago, because at the time of me recording this YouTube video, I just started to implement what I'm doing now, January 30th of 2024. So a little over 2 years ago, right? And then a business model to where you're not focused on just getting as much money as possible right now, but something to where you're going to be building the lifetime value of your customer over time. So you can have this model to build a new floor, or build a foundation, rather than always reaching for new highs. But I discovered what I call contentpreneurship. I discovered increasing your income, impact, and influence online from stuff that you already know. Through messing up, through failures, through thinking that this was going to be the thing, and then realizing down that path, oh, this is actually the way. I didn't think that I would have a community. I didn't think that I would have a YouTube channel. I didn't think that I would currently be building a software that's going to help me in my contentpreneurial endeavors and my community and my audience as well. I didn't think that I would be getting into tech. But that started from me making info products, that started from me writing an ebook, which was my first digital product, that started from me creating a course around that ebook, that started from me creating different products that were associated to that, to building up a social media audience, to making a digital product about how you can grow on social media, to people asking me how to do that, to ads, and then everything going wrong, and then me discovering YouTube, and then everybody asking how do you sell these digital products on YouTube, to now that I have a community and I'm building a software. It's all an accident. And if you study anybody that you view as successful, or that the masses may view as a huge success, a lot of the times they got there on accident. Elon Musk, the richest guy on the planet, right? They say he's a trillionaire. Elon Musk, kind of from day one, actually, he wanted to create this all-is-one platform, the one platform that does everything for everybody, called X. He kind of accidentally did some other stuff, discovered some other things. Other people claimed that he started PayPal and that was his idea. It wasn't. He funded it. A lot of other people think that Tesla was blah, blah, blah. He's a genius. And if you really do the research on that, it was somebody else's idea. But all of this happened through PayPal, through Tesla, through SpaceX or whatever. He purchased Twitter, turned it into X, and he's kind of working on turning X into a do everything platform. It's not only social media, has AI implicated into it. He's working on turning it into a platform to where you can exchange payment and whatnot. That's what he was trying to tell the guys with PayPal to do. But a lot of this stuff started with an accident, right? Jeff Bezos, Amazon started off selling books. It's basically turned into the Walmart of online, if you can think about what Walmart was. Even outside of entrepreneurial and business things, think of penicillin. That was an accident. When a guy just left and went on a trip, came back, saw the bacteria, the mold, whatnot, penicillin. Post-its, a multi-billion dollar accident that was supposed to be airplane glue and stuff like that. It turns into Post-its. A lot of your favorite entrepreneurs, a lot of the favorite creators that you watch, everybody whose content that you're consuming that you may feel like has things figured out, they figured it out because they had an idea, took massive imperfect action on that idea, and then throughout the process of them trying to figure it out, they found the better way and they discovered it. So it's not the idea that's going to make you the success that you want to be. It's you having the idea, having absolute no know-how, trying some stuff, and then seeing what information and what knowledge that you need along the way that is going to allow you to discover something. It's all about self-discovery along the way. I say entrepreneurship is the best self-development tool ever. You are going to discover yourself, and you're going to realize that the battle is within. It's not about the competition. It's not about who has the best idea. It's about who can isolate a problem in the marketplace and who can effectively communicate that solution to that problem to the people that have the painful problem within the marketplace, who can create a micro niche personal brand for themselves so they can attract a micro niche audience. And who is in alignment with the product, with the offering, and with the audience. All of that happens from discovery. And I just see it on a day-to-day basis, not only from people in my community, but just from the comments that I get and the emails that I get on a day-to-day. And I'm like, man, just go. Just go, and you will be shocked at where you do end up being and where you do end up finding yourself at. Because you're not gonna mean to be there. But you're never gonna know until you start. You're never gonna know until you have faith in something not only bigger than yourself, but in yourself as well. And faith and doubt both require belief. A lot of people think that if they don't think that they can do something, then they don't have faith or belief. Yeah, you do. You have belief that you are going to receive an undesired outcome. But the way that the brain works, if you have any inclination of doubt, you're not going to do the necessary actions. It's just like getting in the car and going to the grocery store. If I did not have 100% belief and conviction that I'm going to make it to the grocery store, then I'm not even going to get in the car. My brain's going to be like, what's the point? It's the same thing here. So yeah, everybody said that I was crazy for firing my job before I ever made $1 for myself as an entrepreneur. I thought, well, it sounds crazier to me to sign up for the 40-40-40 scam and work at least 40 hours a week for 40 years of my life to retire for 40 years, 40% of my income and build a life that I hate. That sounds crazier to me. So I'm willing to bet on myself, and I think that I'll figure something out along the way, because if I have no other choice but to make it work, then I have no other choice but to make it work. If I did not believe that I would figure out how to do the real estate stuff, then I wouldn't have started it. And I wouldn't have figured out that that ain't the route, that ain't the way for me, that I wouldn't have figured out the one-on-one calls, I wouldn't have figured out the digital products, I wouldn't have figured out any of this stuff. But it starts with the belief in self. It starts with, from that rooted belief in self. And for me, a higher power that I know is going to guide me, protect me, because I feel like your instincts come from a higher power. And I feel like it's disrespectful to God to not listen to your instincts. A dog doesn't have to ask how to be a dog. A shark doesn't have to ask how to be a shark. A shark, it gets born and starts swimming around and starts biting stuff. A bird doesn't have to go and ask directions on how to fly south for the winter. It's been bestowed with something internal that'll guide it. I believe in that for me. I don't know everybody's belief system. Works for me. But that massive imperfect action will allow for not only self-discovery, but discovery for the business that will increase your income, impact, and influence within your actual purpose, so you can build the business that you desire around the lifestyle that you can envision for yourself. We have all the tools. All that we need to do is design, and what I like to call architect it, to where we can wake up when we want to wake up, do what we want to do when we want to do it on our own time. It's possible. But I'm telling you, it's probably going to be an accident. So check out this right here on how you can build a system for yourself around the micro niche YouTube channel, so you can discover what is meant for you.